afternoon. It's Mr. Harris. It's maths time. It's 1 o'clock. Let's do maths. I just want to start by saying how proud I am of all of you for coming in and watching videos to try and improve your maths. I know I've been doing this a long time now. When we first started, my hair was like super short, and now it's like massively long. But I'm really enjoying still coming in and doing videos for you all. I hope you're still enjoying learning some maths. I don't want to waste too much time. Now, first thing I'm going to say to you today, in the description below is a link to some enlargement sheets stolen from Maths Genie. I will not try and pretend that they're mine. I'm borrowing resources to try and give everyone an opportunity. When I start doing my own channel for lockdown's over and it's like for my own personal growth, I'll start making my own resources more. But for the moment, I'm just borrowing resources where I find good ones. Now, what I recommend you do, unless you really want to watch this live, pause it, try those questions, or have a look at some of them and watch the video along. Because what I've done is I've picked out 3 or 4 of them to go through with you to try and help it make sense. So, let's get enlarging. Okay, shall we begin the mathsing? I think we should. We need to go straight over to here and go. Oh, we don't have to make the noise, but I like to go. There we go, and we're in. We have a grid to start off with, just to remind us what enlargement is. Enlargement is changing the size of a shape. Now, I'm just going to put something out there that's going to blow your little minds, or big minds, however big your minds are. It is still called enlargement if you make a shape smaller. I know there should be a thing called ensmallment, but there isn't. Enlargement can be making things smaller, and that if we're not going to do any of that today, I might do a follow-up video where we do some enlargement with a scale factor of half or third to show you those ones. Today we're going to focus on positive scale factors, and then I'll do something for half factors and negative scale factors at a later time. So this first one, we want to enlarge the shape with a scale factor of 2, and this is how I do it. You're welcome to have your own strategy, but I'm going to talk you through my approach. So what I do, if it's not got a grid, so it's just scale factor 2, first thing I do is underline. I want to enlarge and scale factor 2. Next thing I'm going to do is put a dot on a corner. I do this a lot when I'm doing transformations. I am trying to make sure that I build everything from there. I am now going to put the dot here, which is like supposed to simulate the same shape. You'll see in the next question that there are other things you can do with these dots, but for the moment, this is what I'm going to do. Now, this normally goes up 3 squares. All you do for each thing we're going to do is multiply it by the scale factor. So now I'm going to go up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I would use a ruler for this. It's just not as easy to draw with a ruler on here because the lines end up being really thick. This would normally be diagonal 1. I want diagonal 2. You can see it doesn't quite snap to where I want it to, which is why I'm drawing it freehand. So that's 2. There's 1 diagonal. I want to double it, so I've got 2 diagonals. Now this one, again, is 1 diagonal, so I'm going to put 2 diagonals. And this is where we have to be a bit careful. We've got up 2, because it was up 1. Along 2, so we're going to go up along 4. And this is the only bit that we have to be careful of. This one goes, if we look, along 2, down 1. So to enlarge it, I want to go along 4, down 2. So this is what I'm going to do. I'll go along 4, but not with the lateral line. Along 4, down 2. That's where it's going to go to. That is double the length. And then that one is double. Going up 1, it goes up 2. All I've had to do is make sure that every single side has been doubled. I can't just make it twice as high or twice as long. Every single length must be doubled. First of all, good afternoon to Alicia, Nina, Nathan, Adeline, Katie again. I think it's very sensible to still be watching this. Katie, for those people who don't realise, Katie has finished her GCSE. But by carrying on doing this, she would have finished her GCSE, I think it was 3 days ago. By carrying on doing these videos, she's still going to improve her maths. So if she has to do any retaking or has to do anything more in year 12 or 13, she's able to do that at a later date. And it's also useful for if she ever has children and wants to help teach them. So it's all good. So this is an enlargement on this grid, and it's just every side has been twice as big. Now, weirdly, if I was to measure the area, a little fact about enlargement that you will be asked if you do higher tier GCSE, the area is actually times 4. It's 4 times bigger, and this is because the area would be the scale factor times the scale factor. So in this case, it's 2 times 2. If it was the volume then of a 3D shape, it's going to be scale factor times scale factor times scale factor. So it's actually, it looks much bigger because it's 4 times the size of the area, but the actual shape is twice as big. Okay, moving on to the next one. We've now got a grid. And you'll notice the biggest change, once you've got a grid, is that as well as the enlarge, as well as the scale factor 2, which we already had before in the previous question, we've now also got a centre. So this time we put a dot at the centre. And once you've put your dot, you're going to draw straight lines through the corners. I don't know if it's not going to snap, so I'm going to need to do a straight line from here through that corner. Now, I think I probably want to go for a thinner line because otherwise it's going to get a bit messy. So I'm going to get my shape again, doob, and it's going to go through. It goes through that corner, just like that, and another line. These are called construction lines, and they're used to make sure the transformation is done accurately. And what you then do, we check our scale factor, which is scale factor 2. Each of these 2 corners, you remember I mentioned corners, we have to work out where the new corners go. So what we do is this distance here, I'm going to use dotted lines to show it, but then I will rub them out. 1, 2, 3 going up, 1 across. So because it's scale factor 2, we want to go from the start, not from the new place, from the start. We're now going to go up 6 and along 2. This is the new top corner. And I did say once we've worked out where it is, I'll rub out all the working so we can focus not on the blue line. We can focus just on that purple dot. This is the new top corner. And similarly, this one goes down 1 across 1. So we now want to go down 2 across 2. We've got a new bottom corner. The thing I like about this question is that it also demonstrates one of the truths that a lot of people get confused by, and that is that you can go over the top of the original shape with your drawing. So I need to somehow find a way of making that'll do. I need to try and find a way of, if I can, maybe use the mouse for that. I want to move it over if at all possible. It's not liking moving it, is it? Sad face. Okay, it's not quite snapping as I wanted it to, but you can see what I've done. The next one is I'm going to now go, it would normally go along 2, so I'm now going to go along 4. And then I'm going to connect them up with the worst straight line in the world. Slower, Mr. Harris. So what we've got here is our new shape is twice the size. Remember, the area has been times by 4. Because, let me just re-emphasise, I looked at this corner and worked out where those corners move to. I'm still not comfortable with those 2 lines not being straight. So I'm actually going to draw them in as straight as I can. Like that. And like that. The way I knew where those went is that normally it would go along 1 up 3. This one goes along 2 up 6. Listen, the reason this is GCSE work is because maths is not a case where you start doing GCSEs in year 9. A lot of stuff you've already been doing at primary school is going to be in GCSE as well. GCSE goes all the way from level 1 up to level 9, And level 1 stuff is sort of primary school stuff sometimes, some of the level 2 stuff as well. So don't feel that, we shouldn't be doing this because we're at primary school. I like the fact that you're joining. It is the secondary school lesson we're doing here. So that I would expect some year 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s here. This is all about how to do enlargement, and it is a skill that we're going to be able to use beyond in our GCSE as well. So just looking at each corner, now I think it's probably going to be useful to do another one like this. But this time, notice the one thing that's changed. We're still using scale factor 2. I should probably have done one with the scale factor 3, but the centre is now not O. So what I have to do when I first start is put my centre at 1, 1 straight away. The next thing I do is my lines. I'm going to do these in blue just to make them nice and clear, but probably bigger. Let's see if I can do them with a straight line. No, not from there, please. I'll try one more from here. No, it's gone to the wrong place. So in which case I'm going to make it thicker and draw it. There's my construction line. I'm actually quite pleased with that. And going up, it's got to go through that corner there. And carry on. So what we now do is exactly the same process. Starting from this corner, how much would it go? It would go up along 1, up 3. So, and it has snapped, that one. I noticed that just as we were. So I want it to snap a bit more like that. That's better. So we want to go with the purple along 1, 1, 2, 3. Well, if it's along 1, up 3, and we want to do a scale factor 2, we're now going to go along 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we kind of know we've got it right because when I remove all that counting imagery, the dot is on the line, so we know it's in the right place. Remember, this is supposed to be this. This is supposed to be this dot here that we've just moved up. Now, this dot here only moves along 1 because we've gone along 1 there, so we only want to go along 2 to there. There's the 2 new ones, and I will join those up together. Now, from this point on, it's just a case of enlarging the shape. Normally it goes along 2, so we're now going to go along 4. Normally it goes along 1, so we're going to go along 2. And we're going to connect those ones up. And it will be parallel. Hopefully you can see those 2 lines are parallel to each other. So that's how we know that we got it right. Now, I didn't mean to ink that to shape, so I'm going to have to undo that and stop it from turning into the same shape. Okay, so this is, again, an enlargement scale factor 2. If, I know it doesn't, but if it had said enlargement scale factor 3, I would have, instead of going along 1, up 3, I would have needed to go along 3, up 9. And it would have been just here. Instead of going along 1, I'd have to go along 3. And it would have been a massive shape. 3 times the size. It would have gone along 3 instead of going along 1. It would have gone along 6 instead of going along. And then again, this monstrous line would still have been parallel to this line here. They must be parallel if it's an enlargement. I then like to shade in my shapes to show the whole shape, but you may decide you want to do it, but definitely use a ruler and pencil for that. Okay, so these questions are all in the link in the description. Please do consider going to there and doing the practice. Now the one last thing, one last thing you've got to do here. This goes backwards. Instead of saying enlarge, the enlargement has been done. There are some key words to draw your attention to here. How does it make A into B? Notice it says shape A onto B, so the direction is this way. The single transformation. When I see this, sometimes people try and say, "Oh, we enlarge it and then we move it, or we flip it then we rotate it." The single transformation is enlargement. The other thing you can do if you're wanting to learn good GCSE technique is focus on the number of marks. We know we're going to have 1 for enlargement. Where can we get our other 2? Well, we need to find the scale factor and the centre. For an enlargement, we need a scale factor and a centre. So the scale factor, this is 1 and this is 1. This is 3 and this is 3. So this is scale factor 3. That's where I get my second mark from. Hopefully you will understand why it's scale factor 3, because it's 1 becomes 3. What you do is you divide that length. If this had been a 2, you'd do 3 over 2 is what is 1.5. But it wasn't. It was 3 divided by 1, which is 3. The other thing is where the centre is, and this is where these straight lines are really useful. What you need to do is go to the corner and draw a line through the other corner. Again, I'd much prefer that to be much thinner, and I've been able to do so. And the other one, go to the corner, go through that corner, and what hopefully you have noticed is, if we've done it correctly, which we haven't necessarily been helped out by the accuracy of these lines, but if we've done it correctly, they cross over at the centre. There it is. And the crossover point, which if I make that nice and big and red, is going to be the crossover point is there, which tells us that the centre is 0, 0. So it's trying to find the centre by drawing lines through the same corners as each other, and the scale factor by counting up the sides and seeing what the multiplication is and saying the word enlargement. So you and this is why it's 3 marks, and I think this is very good technique, is when you're trying to get 3 marks, what you want to do is make sure you've got all the 3 things you're going to be looking for. I need to have an enlargement, I need to say what the scale factor is, which I can work out, and I need to say what the centre is. And to find the centre, I need to get a corner and do a line through the same corner. A corner and a line through the same corner, where those lines, in fact, just to demonstrate, because I think it's useful to know this, I could have done a line through this corner and go through that top corner, and wouldn't you know it, it goes through there as well. So they all go through that point, because that's how it works. As long as you go through the same corner, in fact the bottom left corner would have worked as well, they'll all go through the same centre, and that's how you find it. So today's lesson has all been about enlargement, a rudimentary how you do enlargement questions. I've gone through some questions. There's more on the sheet. I would love you to feel that there are all the people who watch the video. I'm sure there's 15 have watched it now, but there might be 50, 30, 60, 70 people who do it once they're practicing for exams or revising. I'm hoping that this is helpful to you and that you can see what's going on, understand. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments below the video, or send them to my email address. Just a reminder, my email address should be on the screen right now, and you can see. You can also contact me via Facebook. This has been a lesson all about enlargement. I hope it's been helpful. If it has, consider liking the video, consider sharing it, and considering subscribing if you haven't. I've been Mr. Harris. You haven't. Look after yourself today, and I will be back on tomorrow with some year 5 to 9 lesson about maths in sport. And because it's a return of the football season tonight, and I'm looking forward to that, we're going to do some maths in football. I'll see you tomorrow.